You're on mute.
Shouted in the background, I'm on mute. You heard that, didn't you? I was on mute. Welcome to PRTv Spurs. Paxton Road TV, talking points number 126. I don't even think I've got the thing in the background to put up as the overlay yet.
Oh my God! My God! It's falling apart. It's like the Tottenham defence.
You see that? It's all going wrong. It's all going pear-shaped. We've got piping up in the background as well. It's all going like as we just saw. As we just said, Tottenham's defence. But this isn't going to be 5 in a row. Here we go.
It's just different.
The music's still lovely, as is the weather. Wonderful out there. Welcome, everybody. I'm Sam Spurs for Life. This is Paxton Road TV, PRTv Spurs, Talking Points, episode 126. Uncomfortable Conversations, part 4, the resurrection. Because we didn't know whether we was going to continue this after last week, but it appears that we're going to have to because needs must. Anyway, joining me tonight. It is tonight. Not with that. With that. I like that actually. That
Not
sounds
a lot,
good.
but you will.
No. Wait.
Not a lot, but I like it.
We'll do that at some other point in time. Things to do. Welcome, Sid Spurs, Sean Hull. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. I've just watched a lovely interview with our esteemed leader, and I'm feeling better.
Good, Sid.
I represented the 5% of Tottenham fans in Manchester on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So, yeah, just come back on Monday afternoon, evening from Manchester to be back with all the Man United fans in London.
Sorry about that, people. Just had to adjust the screen. So everybody had a good bank holiday, did they?
Yeah, it was good. You know what?
Relative.
For once, it was beautiful up north, apparently. It was compared to London. So, yeah, lovely.
Well, I enjoyed myself. It was great. So yeah, things are fantastic in the wider world. If you're up to speed with the beef, Drake versus Kendrick. Some say Drake's winning. Some say Kendrick's winning. But we're all winning as hip hop fans. Huh? What are you saying?
Some say it's just a distraction.
Oh, you know what? That is the biggest. That's the one for me. It's always a distraction when you've got these things. Anyway, let's not get into that because that's a complete different conversation.
And that will get political, so let's not go there.
But yeah, because apparently Drake's house got shot up a couple of days ago, and I'm not quite sure if that's a setup. Anyway, moving on to all things Tottenham. All things Tottenham. We aren't in the best of places, we must admit. However, the season is coming to a close. 3 games left. And what I will say is there's other teams. What's going on, Sid?
I'm here.
You've gone back. Okay. Grief, what's going on? It's like things are out of my control here. What's going on here? Anyway, like I said, 4 games on the bounce, having lost. But I guess it doesn't feel quite like it did post-November when we had the similar type of results because of where we are and really because of Man United and how crap they are. So I think we should be 5th. Chelsea, potentially, do we think? What do you think, boys? Oh, Poch gonna what's the word? Piss on our party?
Hijack.
I tell you what, on Sunday afternoon when it was 4-0, I was saying we ain't going to win another point for the rest of the season. But I've reflected on my depressed self, and I've seen Richarlison score a perler of a goal. I've seen Ollie Skip in a temporary position as inverted left back, and I'm feeling better. And I've watched, as I said, I watched Angie's interview on Optus Sport this afternoon, and I'm feeling better, much better.
I'm glad you are. Because, like I said, we had a bit of a down day, well, down days in the last few weeks because of results. Darius 3K, welcome to the stream as well. 7:15. We want to try and get this done in time, just so we can get to watch our own, or was our own, Harry Kane. Let's see if he can get.
I want to watch Eric Dyer. I'm not watching Harry Kane.
Oh yeah, Eric Dyer. That's what I'm saying. Facts. The new Eric Dyer, the Eric Dyer that's in a Champions League winning team, almost winning team, or at least Champions League semi-final winning team, potentially.
The all-German Champions League final is upcoming.
David Clark, hi from Leicester. Hope everyone in the chat is well. There's not many people in the chat at the moment, David. So yeah, it's just you. The new name for the Spurs defense is it's the Mexican border. I like that. Spurs first signing next summer will be Dani Olmo Carvajal. Do you really think that? We should see. I'll adjust my camera slightly because it's.
Sean Butler's promised us that.
I've been heard a lot of things about. What's his name? Diablo. What's his name?
Dybala.
That's it, not Diablo. I was saying Diablo. Dybala. We've been seeing him for like the last 26 years or something like that. He's not yet. 4 losses on the trot for Spurs will never beat my low point when my team was 1-0 after 30 minutes against league leaders away, but went on to lose the game 12-1. Which team was that? Good grief, David.
Sounds like what we used to do back in the day, Sam, doesn't it?
Yeah, give us some more information because I wouldn't want to be on that team. I hope it's grassroots football. Oh, certainly not professional. Okay, guys, let's all serious, all fun aside, all jokes aside. Let's get into a bit more of a serious chat. I wanted to kind of touch on. We did parts 1, 2, and 3. We've looked at the style of play philosophy. We looked at some of the players in terms of their whether or not they're up for the system, etc., etc. I think we need to just maybe reflect on that a little bit more and kind of talk about who we think needs to be moved on, who we think might need to stay, how you think these players are playing. Do you think they have lost belief? That's one of the questions I'll ask. I'll ask you to start off with this conversation, Sean. There's a lot of talking in the press. There's a lot of talk in the Spurs fan base, which is very, very divided as per usual, very toxic as per usual. Again, we can all have critiques about games. We can all get upset about one-offs, but you have to look at the bigger picture. There is a bit of a bigger picture. I know that there's similarities with other stuff that's gone on in the past, but we can't all just say, Phoenix out, leave it out, jump on this, jump on that. We spent money. We've just spent it unwisely, in my opinion. But we have a manager that has a clear philosophy, a clear way of playing. There are downsides to that, in my opinion. In the Premier League particularly, I think you need to have some sort of adjustments. Again, I'm not talking about philosophical adjustments, but certainly adjustments in how you play because we don't have the best team. And I think, again, repeating myself, that we, as a squad, as a way of playing in terms of Ange's style, need 11, 12, 13, 14, maybe 15 players who are very equal quality. We haven't got that. So I'll start off with you, Sean. Who do you think's lost belief? Or who do you think Ange's talking about when he says that not all players have got the belief that he requires? And I know it's a bit of a loaded question, but you just give your own opinions, my friend.
Who is he talking about? That's that. I don't know. I don't know whether he's actually singling out individual players. I think he's just saying that. I just think he's saying that the team is not playing with the same freedom that they were playing at the beginning of the season, and he seems that I think what's happened is that he feels that as results have gone against us, that players stopped doing the things that gave us the success in the first place. And that's he says it's. He expected it. He actually expected it probably much earlier in the season. But we have that sort of, that kind of honeymoon period, which went on much longer than he expected. But he says it's always going to be the same when he was committed to change, and he hasn't had. He's only had 2 windows, and he's done the best he can in terms of getting players out that he knew would never be, up for his particular style of play. But he says there's a way to go, and he was in the interview I saw this afternoon. I recommend everyone go and see it. It's only about 12 minutes long. He says, he's talking about how, someone put to him the stat that he's got more points in his first 25 game or 35 games than Arteta or Klopp did. And obviously they arrived part way through a season and things like that, but they didn't take over a team which was, as he says, was 8th and dropping rather than 8th and on the rise. So I think it was, that gave me, pause to reflect and think that, he knows what he's doing more than the fan base give him credit for. And I think he will have there'll obviously be a new transfer window. There will be players that there might even be players that we've really taken to who might be on their way, but he will improve the squad, 100%. I believe he will improve the squad. And, and he admitted again, there will be hiccups next season as well. And it may be that the pressure comes on because you're competing for a trophy or you're competing for for something. And that's when you find out about the players that you've got, and he'll definitely have earmarked players to depart. Who they are, we can speculate. I don't want to speculate, to be honest, because I just want to see the window take place. And,
Okay.
I will have some idea possibly by the end of June, because a lot of clubs have got to sell for PSR reasons. And we'll probably have some idea, July, before the team returns for pre-season training. We'll see. I'm not panicking. I was a bit unsure on Sunday, I must admit. And I was saying, this is these are the performances of a team that has kind of not, has given up. And, I said it would be just like us to lose to Burnley and Sheffield United. But I do feel that we'll get the points from their games, which will ensure that we're in the Europa League next year. And do you know what? You can say what you like. That's improvement. We were 8th and falling, as he said. We were 8th and falling. Last season, we were a disgrace, given how much we put in to getting into the Champions League the season before. And I'm more than confident that things will turn.
Sid, I'll ask you the same sort of thing. Thank you, by the way, Sean, because like I said, it's not for me to give to load any questions. So if it appeared to be loaded, I apologize. It's not supposed to just want to be. Sid, same thing. Do you think Andrew's talking about anybody in specific with regards to this belief thing, or is it just a general kind of like statement you kind of made? Maybe it's not even something he actually wanted to say. Emotions get the better of you sometimes. But is there anybody in particular that you think you might have been speaking about?
I'm just wondering how comes Darius has got sun in his room and I haven't. Man's got shades on, Look at him. Man's got shades on.
I'm on the beaches, mate. Just like we are in this season. I'm on the beaches, mate. I'm sorry. Just on the beaches.
Need.
But please continue. Don't let me disturb you, Sid.
No need.
I honestly, I think what Sean was saying, I sort of agree and disagree. I think I think he's not going to name the players, but I think there is 1 or 2 players that are not on the same wavelength as Ange, or not listening to Ange. I don't know. Because if you see, there was a couple, I think I saw footage on, and I'm not saying this player is one of them, but I think Ange's now getting angrier, and there was a footage of Johnson on the touchline. Ange's not talking to him, but one of the coaches is, and there seems to be that Johnson's having a bit of a, I don't know what he's doing, but he seems to be having a bit of a mare at the coaching staff, or the coaching staff's having a bit of a mare at him. But I think there's 1 or 2 players that either don't understand Ange's system or are not accustomed to his system. But I think in general, I agree what Sean was saying. I think he's just saying it as a generalization. But I saw the video as well, Sean, on my way home from work today. It's a very good video, like you said, 12 minutes with Opta Sport. And it asked him some good questions, and he said it, and he's still saying it, that, you know what, exactly what you said, Sean. Last season, the 8th bit, and we was on the decline. He thinks he's done well. There's still room for improvement. They're still not where he thinks they've done well. He thinks they've improved massively. But it's going to take time. I think it's going to take time for he's still adamant about this 4 or 5 year plan. He's still adamant about it, because he did mention Guardiola had the same, Klopp had the same, Arteta had the same. But obviously, we've spent a little bit more money than them. But he's adamant that things are going to change, and he's adamant that his way is going to work. So hopefully in the summer, these players that are not or don't want to play his system or are not going to adjust to his system, along with the other players, I think it's going to be a matter of, well, if you don't want to play my system, if you're not going to adjust to my system as and when I need you to, because boy, am I going to need you, because he keeps going on about this title next year, He keeps going on about this title. Then he's going to have to say, hasta la vista, boys, and whoever else wants to go, because I want to win the title. And I want players that are going to be with me, or you're going to adapt to my system. If you're not going to, and I don't think you're going to, then see you later. So it's going to be a very interesting summer, but I think it's a longer project. But whether Mr. Daniel Levy is going to be pulling the trigger, we don't know. But Spurs fans need to chill out, stop having this meltdown. We got spoiled at the beginning of the season, and now we think, they all think everything's going to be smooth, and it continues throughout the season. And Postecoglou said, like you said, Sean, we've had blips this season. We're going to have blips next season. We've got a fantastic fan base. Our fans don't like losing games. We all don't like losing games. But these things will happen. And sort of, you got to go with the rough with the smooth. So we've got to see what happens.
I like all the positivity. My role today is to be a bit more of a devil's advocate. I'm not going to do it yet, because I'm going to get all the opinions first, and then I'm going to just ask a few questions. Just because the name of the show, for those that don't know, it is Uncomfortable Conversations Part 4, The Resurrection. Darius, same question to you, same sort of, again, it doesn't have to be specific if you don't want to name names, but do you think the players have lost belief? Do you think some of the players have lost belief, or is this just a blip?
I wouldn't say lost. I would say they're looking to somebody to get them out of this. Do you know what I mean? And it ain't going to be them that's going to get them out of this. And as a player, if we're four losses on the bounce now, and you don't see much faith in getting a result, you're going to turn to your managers, try and tweak something, to change something in order to at least give you the confidence to maybe get back onto a run of form, or, going 0.4, going a whole month, if you want to call it a month. It's not a month. It was about 2 weeks, because we had games congested, but four match days without a win. As a player before, I would be panicking. I would start to have a little bit of panic. I wouldn't start to lose faith in my manager, but I would start to panic a little bit, because you do need to get points on the board. So my fear is we're not changing nothing. So when are we going to actually, when is it going to change? If we're not willing to change, if our manager's not willing to change, when's the turn of form going to happen? Is it going to come with the significant drop in quality of opposition that we're going to have? Obviously, Burnley are nothing like Chelsea, nothing like Liverpool, nothing like Arsenal. But again, the last game in the FA Cup we played against them, we only just beat them, like you said, Sean, in the last video, and Pedro Porro really did have to pull it out of nowhere to do it, and they're still fighting for something as well. So there's all these things that I'm adding up and thinking about when I think about how we can turn it around. And yeah, I think some of these players are just a little bit in panic mode. If we finish the season losing 7 games on the trot, it's not going to look good, regardless of how well each individual's played in the game, regardless of if you score 3 goals in every game leading up, but you lose 4, it's not going to look good losing 7 on the bounce to end the season. So I think it's not it's not losing faith. It's just a bit of, I think it feels like panic right now. Like 4 games, this the most games we've lost in a row since 2004. So it's unusual. We never had this with Poch. Never. We never had this with Redknapp, with Sherwood. Like we've never had this for a long time. So this is
Never had
kind
this
of
with
uncharted territory for us
Never
at the
had this
moment.
with AVB.
We had it with AVB. I apologize.
No,
we didn't have it with
Oh,
AVB.
we didn't have it with
didn't
AVB.
have it with
Sorry.
Nuno.
No, we didn't have it with anybody. So this isn't good. However you want to pick, paint our future, paint what the summer's going to look like. At the moment, it's not good. It's really, really not good. 13 goals conceded and 2 goals scored, is it? Or 4 goals scored with the 2 at Liverpool. Yeah, it's not looking good. So yeah, I'll go back to my point and say I think that it's not a lack of faith, or I don't think players are losing faith. I think it's just a little bit of panic at the moment because we haven't lost 4 games in a row, and I don't see, if the manager's not going to change, which he seems to concede that he won't. I don't see where we're going to turn it around. Where's the turnaround going to actually come from?
So again, like I said, thank you for all your opinions, and I'll based on all your thoughts, I'm going to throw in some things here. So yeah, 4 games. When I critique, I don't critique the whole picture because I want Ange to stay. That's the first thing that I will say. I want Ange to be the manager. I like his philosophy. I'm on board with it. I'm on board with what they want, what he wants to achieve as a collective, as a footballing manager. But I have to shake my head. There are things that he's doing that I don't think is helping the cause. In the Premier League, we may have to give managers time. Obviously we do. But time is not their friend. If the fan base starts to ignite as it's doing now, things are pressurized. Daniel Levy has been known to make decisions based on public opinion. And I think that this could be a similar case if we're not careful. Because you can't go into the end of the season losing 7 games. I don't care who you are. I don't care whether it's your first game, whether it's your 101st game. I don't care. It can't be your first game because you would have lost 5. If it's your 7, you know what I'm saying. You can't. It's the Premier League. It's not
losing 7 in a row is crazy.
I'm not saying we're going to lose 7. It'd be crazy.
No, but if we were, that would be insane, wouldn't it? Like that's what I'm saying. There'd be no way you could spin that.
But to lose 4 in a row. So let me just finish the point.
Yeah.
To lose 4 in a row is bad enough. To lose 4 in a row, to lose 3 in a row when we had that part middle season. The only reason why I think we're a little bit more relaxed about it is because it is the end of the season, pretty much, and we know where we're going to finish. We ain't going to finish anything below 6. But there are signs that don't make me feel too confident about going into next season. One of them being, I don't think we're going to get the players that we need because we can't get all the players out that we want or Ange wants. It's impossible. I don't think enough players are good enough. I don't think it's even a belief thing. I just don't think players are good enough. Because the reason I say it's not a belief thing is because even when we had all them injuries, we still played the same way. And we had to play players in certain positions. Now, they excelled at that time. Ben Davies, Emerson Royal, 2 of the ones I'm going to name who played at centre-back, out of position. But now it's later on in the season. Now we've got fatigue to add into the factor. Now we've got a bit more pressure to add into the factor. These are the things which is causing us the problem. We had an opportunity to get top 4 this season because of Villa's inept towards the end of the season. But they played about 15, 16 games more than us. So I can forgive them for having their little bit of a wobble. I can't forgive us, regardless of whether or not we've had injuries. I don't care. I don't want to see 4 losses in a row. Again, I'm looking at the bigger picture. I'm happy with Ange. But he has to adjust something going into these next 3 games. Because if we lost at home to Burnley, for instance, that pressure is going to ramp up for the game against them lot, which is not even them lot, Manchester City on Tuesday, which we, in all honesty, don't really want to win because we don't want them lot to win the league. And there's a potential. So again, if we do have a bad result against Burnley, it's not going to get any easier against Man City away. Other thing I'd just like to add is managers do talk good games. Eric Ten Bags is talking the best game I've ever seen any manager in world football talk about his team, sending the most dynamic team in the Premier League. He thinks they've got a future because of the youngsters. They are shit. delusion is what I think he's living off at the moment. They are rubbish, but they've been rubbish for a number of years because they haven't fixed certain things. We haven't had a transfer window where I could say we've got everything right. We said, yeah, potential, but we've made mistakes. That transfer window this coming season has got to be spot on. We have to get rid of players. We can't be sentimental to the likes of, and I'm going to mention it, Son, Ben Davies. I'd even go in as far as even say Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. The sooner I'd even add to that effing list. We can't be sentimental with these players because they're not good enough for the system that we need going forward. That's my personal opinion. That's it. However, we're now going to talk about players that need to stay or think we should stay, and players from a positive who I think are doing well. I think the goalkeeper, as people are giving him a hard day, I think he's doing actually quite well. You know, he's being put under pressure, but he's his first year. Does anybody here think that Vicario should be moved on in the summer? Because I'm hearing a lot of that. Vicario is not good enough. He should be moved on. What?
I think he's getting unfairly bashed. That's all I really have to say to that.
I wish he would do a session with Pat Jennings, and Pat Jennings would tell him how to deal with a crowded penalty box. You know what I mean? When it comes to a corner or a free kick, but I think no, it's his first season in a new league, and you know, we could say a very flaky officiating performance across the league this season when it comes to interruption on goalkeepers, because you know, if Arsenal's third goal stands after basically he's barged into the net by Ben White, you know, David Raya is taking the piss with his floppy performance against Bournemouth on Saturday. You know, so there's the vagaries of the officiating that needs to be looked at. We do need to improve our set pieces, but there are other parts of the game that we need to improve too. And you know, the manager in his interviews has said that it's not what's the word I'm looking for? It's not terminal in terms of Vicario. I'm more than happy with his acquisition. I'm more than happy for the amount of money we paid for him. I wasn't prepared to pay 40 million for Raya, and everything Raya's done this season is made me even more confirmed to that, including passing to Romero for the first goal against us at our place. So, yeah, I'm okay with Vicario.
I think there's still elements in his game that he needs to learn. I think coming to the Prem, I don't think he realised how intense and how like that every player bashing him in set pieces and stuff like that. I think he needs to, obviously, like you said, Sean, or Pat Jennings or somebody needs to have a word with him and say, right, this is how you need to deal with it. I think the most important thing for me that he needs to learn, and my boys are saying the same, is his passing is shocking. His passing is shocking. He needs to improve that passing and his decision making, because the amount of time, Sam, you've been there, Sean, you've been there, amount of time he gets the ball and he just dilly-dallies with the ball and he's going this, that, and then he just hoofs it to the opponent players. So I think that's what he needs to learn, how to quickly deliver it, you know, pick up the ball and just bang, not do a Romero, but he's got to learn with his feet as well, because every keeper now is learning how to pass the ball, how they can dink it up top. Somebody's put it in the comment section, the long balls from a keeper. How many teams have we seen, goalkeepers have we seen? Pickford's done it, Raya's done it, Edison can do it. Pinpoint a ball that can turn defense into attack over the top. And especially if we're playing with teams that are going to be defending highline like Liverpool, we can ping, like you said it, Sam, we can ping it over the top. But he's not, I don't know if he's capable is the word I'm looking for, but I don't know if he can do that or if he's seen that. If he gets that into his game and practices that over the summer and whatever, I think that's an extra improvement. I don't want him out.
Do you think he's good enough as a footballer? Because if you're going to play that system, the Edison, what's the Liverpool keeper's name?
Onana.
Alisson.
Onana can do
Pickford
it.
to a degree.
Onana used to do it, but he doesn't do it
Onana.
at Man United. He doesn't do it
Oh,
at
he
Man
can't.
United.
He can't afford to do it at Man
He
United.
did it at Ajax. He was the best at
He-
Ajax.
Yeah. So what I'm
He
saying,
did it at Inter as well.
Yeah.
do
And
you
Inter,
think,
sorry, yeah,
he's good
completely
enough?
forgot about Inter.
Do we think that Vicario is a good enough footballer to be able to play the system that Ange wants to play out from the back? Because I'm saying this now, I think he's coached to play out from the back. I don't think, as we were saying,
Of course
he's not given the license to play long, but because you're coached in a certain way, your default is to play what the manager says, and that's what you should be doing. If it's what your manager says is the philosophy, it's part of what you do in terms of a system and all that, you should be trying to do that. And he will then take the responsibility if it goes wrong. So if he was to be playing out and it goes wrong, I would, if I was coaching, because I've done that coaching, I'll take responsibility for that. I've told, that's what you come out and say, because you support your keeper. But do we think he's good enough as a footballer to be able to play that way? The Alissons, the Edisons, the Onanas, the Pickfords.
Listen, I think that's coached into you, and that's like we said, Sean. That's for the goalkeeping coaches and the manager to show him that and to teach him that, because you said it, Sam, the other day. If it's not working going down the sides, if it's too slow, we're too predictable. If you've got that in your locker where you think everyone's thinking, all right, they all think I'm going to go left to right to back to front, I'm going to ping it over the top for Son to run onto or Johnson to run onto, you can do it. So you've got to get that coached into you. And I think every goalkeeper now, I think, has that or are coached that about feet, because the way the football is going now, the way the Prem's going, I think even in Italian league, German league, any league, I think they want keepers to be good on the ball.
I think it's so important, though. I mean, if you look at sometimes the way that Arsenal and City play, because they include, and David Ray is a great example, because they include the keeper in their build-up, it's almost like having 11v10 on the pitch, because David Ray is basically taken up a centre-back position, and then either Gabriel or Saliba will push on forward. It's almost like they've got an extra man on the pitch. So
Chip him.
Depending how important it is, I don't necessarily think we like to play out from the back, obviously, from goal kicks and stuff, but we don't really use Vicario in the build up necessarily. Like once he's distributed that ball out the back, we're not sort of going back and forth to Vicario. So,
and that was the point I was going to make, Darius, because you're right, he plays out from the back, but I don't see him then passing back to him. They play it across the centre backs, and I
think that's deliberate, because he can't really do that, and I'm not mad at that. I think Vicario is a shot stopper. We knew he was a shot stopper. He had the highest save percentage for I can't remember. Do you know Empoli? I can't remember what team he played for now.
Empoli, yeah.
Empoli, yeah. He had the highest save percentage in Serie A, and he was facing quite a lot of shots as well. So it's, for me, we need to not play to his strengths necessarily, but for example, with corners, I keep coming back to it, but if the corner tactics, or if the defending, marking, whatever you want to call it, is structured properly, we won't get ourselves in those situations, if that makes sense. If everyone knew where to be, what to do, Vicario wouldn't get targeted. And I also think that you could just push, you can, if you really want to, you can push that player off the keeper. Like, sometimes I think, centre-backs, like, give them a little push in their back. Like, get them off your keeper. Help the keeper out a little bit, because they're going to do that now. Like, you've got to protect your keeper a little bit as well.
And I will add to this, the keeper won't get pulled up for a foul if he pushes a centre-back.
Exactly. Just give him a little push. Like,
he pushes,
you know what I mean?
I've never seen that happen where a centre-back,
they'll never give a foul.
They won't never give a foul. But the other way around, it's more likely than not they'll get it. But
and Vicario will get a foul. Yeah, if they're pushing Vicario, he's supposed to be protected. And I know what you guys are mentioning. I think you guys mentioned earlier about the sort of inconsistency of the treatment of goalkeepers and the contact, how much contact they can sort of receive. But for me, like you said, Sam, I've never seen any penalty given for a keeper moving our centre back out of the way. So again, there's little ways we can improve these things. That the corner thing to me isn't the most important problem. I think you could solve the set piece issue by hiring a coach, by working on that. The issue for me is I need to see where the change is going to happen. And again, if we aren't going to get in players who are going to be able to play this system, the same stuff's going to happen next season, even if we get rid of 7, 8, 9 players. the recruitment has to be perfect, like you said. That's the first and foremost. That's the most important thing. If we're going to play such a technical system, recruitment has to be perfect.
Has to be spot on. Has to be spot on. Do we think that? Because I'm going to put this comment up here, and Sean, you can have this comment if you want to. Raheem, you know,
I disagree, by the way.
This is Raheem that I think I know. This is a guy that I think. Man for man, you have a better squad than Villa. Your manager is too stubborn. His tactics have been found out. Your football reminds me of Ardiles football.
I disagree with the first bit.
I disagree with the first bit too.
I think Villa have got a way better squad than us.
Yeah, I would say we're about equal. Maybe they're slightly better than us.
Fair.
Manager's too stubborn. The football is nothing like Ardiles football because we didn't have defenders of the quality of Van der Ven and Romero when Ardiles was the manager. You know, we had Stuart Nethercott and Sol Campbell, I think it was. So, you know, just goes to show they weren't as good as the defenders we have at the moment. So no, I think that I generally disagree with you, Raheem. Sorry.
Sid, have you got any other thoughts on that?
Do you know what? I think David put the other bit. Yeah. Is it that one? No, it's not that one. It's about straight after, I think Raheem put the comment. Where's it
This
gone?
one here? Nothing like Ardiles football?
Yeah, nothing like Ardiles. We had a world-class six and a Conference League defence. David spot on. Our front six was absolutely mental under Ardiles, and we could cause havoc, but the defence was shite. I think Villa, I don't think man for man they're better than us. I think we're not better than them man for man. For example, Ollie Watkins had take him all day long. Right. Martinez.
Bailey.
Diaby don't even start for him, and I take Diaby as a starter for us at the moment.
But
Naniolo, Buendia's not even been playing this season. He's been out injured. Yeah, Jacob Ramsey, they've got that new kid, that Morgan kid, Konza.
Yeah, but
Douglas Luiz is an elite midfielder. McGinn, like their team is better than ours, I think, significantly. But that's just my opinion, obviously.
I don't think significantly. I don't think significantly they're better. The reason we're saying that is because they're all playing well and that's where they are and this, that, the other. But
see, don't we have to add into context? They've played about 17 more games than us, something like that. We had, at the time when they had played 50, we had played 30 something.
They've not had injuries we've had. Let me ask this question: If we continued the form that we had in the first 10 season, would we be having this conversation about they're better players than our players? I don't think
we'd be saying we'd be almost won the league by now if we had the form in the first 10 games. So the point is, you know, that's never going to be the case. You're never going to get that case where that form is going to continue. And we've also got to factor in that we're going to have more games next season. So even if we had the league start to next season, I can't see how we could keep that form up based on the way that we play, the structure and how we play, because it is so technical, as Darius said. It is so energy depleting because of what you have to do. Just think about it. If we didn't have Van der Ven as a centre-back, and I want to get onto the centre-backs in a little bit. If we didn't have Van der Ven as a centre-back, well, we've seen what happens when he's not playing. We might get away with it for 1 or 2 games against lower level oppositions, but teams that know what they're doing in terms of transition will always be able to make the best of that situation when we haven't got that pace with Van der Ven, because of the fact that we don't have left and right backs. So if you play that ball into that space with a defender that's not as quick, when you haven't got fullbacks in there, you're asking for trouble. You are asking for trouble. So it's built on the fact that you need to have pace. I'll just go back to the Vicario thing as well. The shot stopping thing is why I think he's been brought in. And I'm saying that because the way that we play, we give up opportunities. So we have to have a good shot stopper in goal. Now, if he can improve on certain things, Vicario, this is in terms of his crossing ability, that can be learned. I'm happy with that. I've seen De Gea go through all that sort of situation where they said he's never going to make it the Premier League, one of the best. I've seen Petr Cech go through it, one of the best. So every single player in terms of that position will go through aspects of the game where he's going to have to improve on it. What I don't think you can really improve on that great is your football ability, i.e. to become a better footballer as a goalkeeper, because it's too late in the day, in my opinion. You can improve your technique. Go on, Sid. Sean.
Yeah, sorry, you just reminded me of something I wanted to say a little about 5 minutes ago in terms of Vicario's footballing technique and your system to work well. You need to have really good 8s and wingers because there is a time that you're going to have to chip the press, and I don't think that our 8s and our wingers have done the job in order to
100%.
Control the ball. And, if you want to chip the ball, not necessarily a long ball over the defense, but if you want to just move through
into
the
that
lines,
space, into that little
into that
space in the midfield.
yeah, you need really world-class 8s and wingers.
But you know what else as well? Just to add on that, Sean, and this kind of goes out to all of you. Let's not forget who our first target was for a goalkeeper and who was basically going to join us. It was David Raya. And David Raya, for me, when I watch Arsenal, is very, very, very important to the way they play. And I asked you the question, would you rather your keeper be like David Raya, where I don't think David Raya is anywhere near a shot-stopping quality of Vicario, but I also agree that David Raya's distribution is miles better than Vicario. And he's the person who can find those pings. He's very good at spraying those passes to those players and finding players in that exact space that you're talking about there, Sean. So as a fan, who would you rather prefer?
So just to add this context to what you're saying, Darius, because you're spot on with that. The reason Arsenal changed their keeper for David Raya as opposed to, what's his name?
Ramsdale,
they were facing a lot of shots. Ramsdale is a better shot stopper, but he can't distribute. Arteta changed his, not philosophy, but changed his system to allow more control, to allow less opportunities at their goal. Hence the reason why they got the best defense in the league this season.
100%. And also because of Declan Rice as well.
And that's a fact.
I don't think that their improvement defensively is down to David Raya.
No, that's what I was going to say.
So I don't think his distribution is anywhere like elite. It's nowhere near like.
I think it's better than Ramsdale.
Oh, he can spray a pass.
Definitely not better.
I have seen him in games against us put balls out of the field.
But that will happen with the risky passes.
And then what was he doing for the Romero goal?
I agree, but what we have to do, if we're going to add that context to it, we have to say the same thing. Keepers will make mistakes. Keepers will do things out. He's probably going to end up with the golden boot. Sorry, golden glove.
He's already won it. He's already won it. It's already confirmed.
Without having to really do anything to show me that he didn't even start the season.
He didn't even start the season
exactly in terms of shot stopping. So it's not shot stopping why he's been brought into the Arsenal team over Ramsdale. It's because they can build up play. He is that 11th player. So when you've got 11v10, they play with, again, very similar in terms of very aggressive in terms of playing high, but they play with a little bit more control, and he has the ability to go back to, yes, he's going to make mistakes. So as any keeper in the league, we can't just say, oh, he's done that because we've got keepers that do that and other keepers done that. What I'm saying is they're not reliant on him having to make shot after save after save after save after save, as they did with Ramsdale, because they have more control. If we had more control over this, then we'd have to look at Vicario in a little different way because his strengths are shot stopping. So would we then say, like with Pickford, I don't rate Pickford because I think his concentration levels are not the best. I don't think he's that good a keeper. Even for England, I don't think he's great. But people seem to think, oh, his distribution is wonderful. He's about 5'8". I don't care. I'm trolling now. I don't care. I just don't think he's good enough. But that's just me on that situation. So, yeah, I understand the reasons why certain players look better in certain teams because of the fact that they're part of what this team actually needs. Arsenal needed that person to be able to build up the play, pass it back, control the game. That's what they're doing. That's my opinion. Good BC saying it's just part of the building process. Klopp, Pep, and Arteta never changed in the first season. He can't change something that's in its early stages at the first sign of trouble. Thoughts?
Absolutely.
Repeat that. I heard never. I heard Arteta and never, but it cut out a little bit. What did you say there?
No. It's on. Oh, you can't see it on the screen.
Sorry, it's the comment. Sorry, apologize. Let me read it. Carry on.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly. That's the thing. You know, you need to see the players that you've got. Can they play the system? That can't. If they can't play that, then you move them on. You know, as best you can. So he needs to. You know, he's used this season as a gauge of where we are at. he needed to change. I think that by and large, as I've said before, we were 8th and falling. We're now 5th and getting back to being nearer the top of the table. I would say we're a much better team this year than last year. The points,
100%.
the points and the place prove that. They're the stats that count to me. So, I think it will be. There are rooms for optimism, but I don't think we're going to get to centre backs tonight.
No. Sid, I just want to ask Sid something, because we've talked about, everybody's here has touched on it. We need to get better players in. We need to do this. We need to get rid of the players that can't play the system. How easy is that going to be in terms of what we've seen historically from Spurs, given the fact that PSR, whatever you want to call it, financial fair play, blah, 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 is changing the way that the game is almost played. It's almost changing how the game is played. And the reason I say that is because I looked at Newcastle when they got there, or they were celebrating like they'd won. They had won a lottery deal, one of them Euro millions, 100. They thought they'd done everything, but now they've seen that they might have to sell players to be able to balance what they've done from a financial fair play. We've seen Nottingham Forest try to buy 2,000 players in one season, didn't work out for them. You know what I mean? So again, we have to look at this realistically. And this is what I'm saying about when you just said it, Sid, earlier. Andrew's still looking. I haven't seen the interview, and I'm going to look out for it later. Andrew's still talking about challenging, winning, or going for the league next season. No. Not if we're playing. Just no. I've done that. I've made that mistake before. I ain't making that mistake again. How do you think we're going to get rid of these players and bring in those players and be able to do this, what we talked about, challenge for league and play in Europe and do well in domestic cups? How's it going to work? You're
going to have to terminate contracts. The ones that are in the last year of their contracts, Daniel Levy's going to have to, Angie's going to have to say to them, mate, get rid of these players. Take the hit. We're not going to get rid of them. We're not going to sell them. So buy him out of the contract. If he's got 1 year left, then tell him, get the year out and get the fuck out of this club. See you later. Yeah? And then you try and sell the other players. If you can't get 20 million, then you're going to have to take less. Simple. Get rid of them. Because if Angie's saying, and it's not once Angie said it, and he's not just saying it for the sake of saying it, I want to challenge for the title next year. If your manager's constantly saying that, then at some point he's going to have to wake up and think, you know what? He keeps fucking saying this. I'm going to have to deal with this now. And if Ange says to him, go and get me the play, I'm not saying, obviously, Rome wasn't built in a day. He's not going to turn around and say, all right, here's 15 players. There you go. See you later. No. Postecoglou's already said that it's not a quick fix. I need X amount of windows and I can get X amount of players in. I think he's got the players in there at this precise moment that he thinks are capable of doing it. We're tweaking the system. Players have got injured. Players have come back from injury. Going back to a point that you guys have said before, Villa haven't lost any players like we have. Bentancurs, Madison's, Van der Ven's.
I don't know about that. They lost Mings at the opening day of the season.
I was going to say.
But then they've got players to fill in. Yeah,
Mings is shit though. I can't lie to you.
Yeah, and then they've come back and out of form.
Clement Longley.
If you said Clement Longley, I'd have been like, yeah, fair, Sean. But I despise Tyrone Mings. I don't think he's awful.
But I think you know what, he's gonna have to. Something's gonna have to change, and like I said, he's gonna have to say to him, get these players out of the club, because the last thing Ange wants is Ndombele's and all them not coming back, because that, like you said, Shane, then that thing is the squad, and he can't. Fair play comes into it, everything else comes into it. So Daniel Levy's gonna have to start taking hits, man, literally, and I don't mean from people hitting him or shoot buys or dot whatever. He's gonna have to start taking hit on players, whatever they're earning or whatever price tag they've got. He's gonna have to say, all right, see you later, mate.
Sid,
we can
part of the financial fair play would mean you have to try and make profits on players. So by just terminating contracts, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage to be able to buy. This is the whole thing.
Include them in deals then. Why can't
This is
we
what I'm saying.
play
But
for
no,
this?
who's
Play
gonna
it
want
for
Ellison
cash.
effing Royal as part of a deal? Who's gonna want him
Give
as
him to
part of a
Saudi,
deal?
bro. Send him to
Exactly.
They
Saudi.
don't want him. There's
They
another.
do.
No, we
Yes,
don't
they
want
do.
him.
They
We
do
don't
want
want
him.
him.
That's what's crazy. We literally turned down an offer from Saudi at the start of the season because we thought, oh, we need a backup. Emerson, he could play left back, he could play right back. Oh, yeah.
You know what?
Richarlison, we had a 60 million euro offer for Richarlison, and every man told me, nah, let's not do that. Why not? Why not?
We're still gonna get that in the
We're
summer.
not going to get our money back on that. That's the only way we're going to get
So
our money back.
where did Richarlison's 11 goals come from?
Look, for me, like I said, Richarlison cost 60 million. I don't think Richarlison's worth 60 million. So if somebody's going to offer me 60, I think we can flip that and get an Isak. Give him an extra bit of money, get an Isak. I'm selling Richarlison. I don't care if he scored 11 goals. Or Ollie Watkins. Or if you're going to get... I'm not saying these players are going to join, but if you can get a better quality
You ain't
striker,
getting Isak. You ain't getting Isak unless you're paying 100 million.
you know what? Give me Benjamin Sesko, who's at RB Leipzig, who's 19 years old and absolutely killing it.
Yeah, but
He's
Darius.
got way more potential. And he won't cost you 60 mil. He won't cost you 60 mil.
Yeah, but you're getting rid of one to bring one in. We need more than one because we've seen what's happened when Richarlison's not playing. We haven't got enough.
Yeah, that's fair. Maybe Richarlison. I'm saying I was speaking about it from the sense of if we get offered 60 mil for Richarlison, even if he's all right, I think you can't turn down those sort of offers for players like Richarlison because you're not going to get your money back. And we weren't saying this before he had his surgery and stuff. A lot of people were like, even me included, I'm only giving Richarlison a chance because he's had a good run of form since his surgery.
You say we sell Richarlison after having sold Harry Kane.
Yeah, if we sold Harry Kane, I've got no loyalty to Richarlison. I couldn't care if he scored 10 goals. If we can get a better striker, I'm not selling him if we can't get
up front, Darius.
I'm saying if we can get a better striker,
Richarlison.
if we can get a better striker, I'm not holding on to Richarlison for the sake of it. If there's plenty of strikers on the market. Let's not get it twisted.
So
Ivan Toney,
into the Brentford
Ivan
game
Toney,
without
would
a
you not take
striker.
Ivan Toney to sell Richarlison?
No, Ivan Toney.
That's insane to me.
Is a bad egg.
Look, people would say Elise don't really. Again, like these are the like. You don't have to like. I really don't think that we need to. Like I said, we need to really think about, are these players going to have the impact that if we're challenging for a title, Richarlison is not going to. Like, I'm trying to think about it from Ange's perspective. He wants to challenge for the league. Like, these players that we've got aren't going to challenge for the league.
Ivan Toney doesn't get you challenging for the league.
I think Ivan Toney has shown a lot more for me than Richarlison has.
Has he got
Definitely.
How many goals has he got since he got back in the Brentford team?
What's he on? 5, 6?
He's not even starting games, man. The other day, I think he was benched.
Look, you guys, if you guys want to keep Richarlison, feel free. But if opportunities arise,
your alternatives don't fill me with any enthusiasm.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm saying now, I can't have another season of Richarlison. I don't. It's the same thing we did with Emerson. It's the same thing we've been doing with players over the past couple of years. We need to sell now, and we need to get serious players in. Like I said, we need to spend money. If we're not going to spend money, then I don't see how we're going to improve. Arsenal aren't in the position they are because Arteta is a good coach. He's a good coach, and they spent 400 flipping million pounds. So if we aren't gonna pull our finger out and really get in the quality that we need, then we're gonna be like, oh, Richarlison scored 10 goals. That's all right, I guess. We're gonna be in the same situation next season. We're gonna have to make some real tough decisions. Problem
is, Darius, is no one's going to pay 60 million for Richarlison, like you said, right?
I don't think Saudi's coming with money over the hill.
And
I think they realise we've overspent here.
Yeah. And also,
no one in Europe's got any money.
And Daniel Levy's not going to be willing to let a striker go for less than what he's paid. So that's the other.
So we're going to be stuck with Richarlison, and we're not going to be able to improve this squad then.
But Darius, if you go and buy the youngsters, like you're saying, why not have Richarlison as a squad player to have on the bench?
And my rebuttal to that is because that's a 60 million pound player on the bench. If I could get 40 million, I would rather get 40 million for Richarlison and put Scarlett on the bench. I'll be so honest with you.
Yeah, but
I'll be so honest with you. or I'd rather put Donnelly on the bench. For me, like a 60 million bench play is
Donnelly's not a
crazy. Like,
striker.
but why are we gonna? If you
is
can
a
cash
striker.
in and reinvest that money into positions that we need, for example, defensive midfielder, for example, backup left backs and backup right back, for example, a winger, a left winger that we don't have any good left wingers in my opinion. There are other positions that I would rather spend the money on. Okay, we don't get a Tony, we don't get a whatever, but I would rather go and get again. We need to fill our squad. Backup left back, backup right back, left winger. Strikers, we've got so many young strikers who are on loan coming back. I'd rather take a risk with one of them. Veliz, I'd rather take a risk with that, even if you don't want to spend the money on a striker. I think Richarlison is value just sitting there, and we could make a little bit of money off him. Maybe not profit. We can make a bit of money off him and reinvest this into positions and players that are going to have an impact. Because at the moment, for me, Richarlison scored 11 goals. He's had a decent season since he's come back from his injury, but the inconsistency of being on the pitch and all of that encapsulates doesn't seem worth it to me. And we'll look at the Kai Havertz thing and think they've spent 65 million on Kai Havertz, but he's the purpose has been fit. He's got more goals than Richarlison. I know he's played forward, but he's filled roles. He's the purpose has been fit. That's what the point I'm trying to get at. We need to
saying that at the beginning.
No, they weren't. But this is what I'm saying. I can see now why he signed him. He's improved the height. He's improved the physicality. He's very good at hold up play. He's very good at creating space for other players. So I can see why he did it now. I was again with you, Sid, saying, nah, that's a lot of money. But when I look at players like Brennan Johnson, 50 mil, I'm not seeing the worth in the money. But I'll give Brennan Johnson a chance because he's 22 and he's doing things that make me think, okay, cool, Ange can do something with it. Richarlison, for me, I'm just finished. I'm done. Maybe I'm being a little bit unfair on Richarlison, but I just think I don't see a future when we could get a bit of money for him. We could reinvest and potentially, we could still get goals from other positions, left winger, right winger. I don't know. I feel like we're a bit too loyal with these players. I feel like I would get rid of a lot of players. You're
forgetting one key factor, Daniel Levy.
That's true. This is why I'm scared. This is my whole point why I'm scared. This is why I'm scared because I know we're not going to do what we need to do.
The referees rang the bell because this part 4 is
a Bayern Munich playing now.
And we're going to need a part 5. The resurrection is for real. 3 days in, we're going to have another one of these. Because
this is great therapy, guys. Though. I really do appreciate it.
Like I said, there's so many opinions and so many different ways to look at it. And I'll just add on a Richarlison thing. I kind of agree with you, Darius, but then I kind of don't. Because if we get rid of Richarlison, we ain't got no goal scorers.
Exactly.
And if we don't get the number 9 that we want, that kicks in and does everything that we want, when we've been crying for a number 9 for X amount of seasons, we don't seem to have got the one that we think that we should have. So what makes us think we're going to be any different when we're talking about not spending money more than 50 million on a player? You ain't going to get no serious striker for a less than 100 mil if we're really serious. Isak being the prime example. You're going to get him out of Newcastle, you're going to have to pay a lot of money. Now, there might be other available. There might be potentials. There might be players that we kind of look in other leagues and say, oh, my God. But I'm looking at proven now. I don't think we can take risks. We've taken too many risks in the transfer market.
So we can't even. To be honest, I don't even know why. That's why I'm scared because I know we're not.
That's why I'm a little bit concerned. But that's what I'm saying. I don't think we can sell Richard because of that. I don't think we can.
I don't think you need to spend 100 million to get quality players.
That's a point. That's a good point. But
you're gonna have
proven
to
over years for strikers,
misses, aren't you?
And our manager had a record of getting diamonds from parts of the world that we don't even know.
Apart from Harry Kane, who cost us nothing, who have we got that hasn't cost us money? Or in a league that you can see at this present time that hasn't cost money? And if we're looking at goal scorers per se, the Salahs of this world we can look at cost money. We can look at Haaland. We know he costs money, and that was relatively cheap for them, but it still costs money. But if you're in the real market, that's £100 million player. Easy. Ooh, tell me. There isn't. You don't get them. You don't get them. If they were, everybody would be buying them. You have to either be very, very lucky or players that have come to the end, like an Mbappe. Walking out on a free contract. Let's get him, shall we? 500,000 a week that will cost you.
I mean, Tom Holland tried, but I don't think you want to see Mbappe's response.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Listen,
he looked at him and said, what? Next question.
What Juice Not said the other day, Sam, he's going to be right. We're going to come up to uncomfortable.
We're gonna be on 100.
We might even get to uncomfortable conversations 100 by the end of this season. I thought it might take at least
That's what I
a
mean.
couple of years.
That's what I mean. By 2
No, we'll have
weeks.
this. We'll do this again. We'll do this again because, like I said, it's all about. Like I said, we want Tottenham to do well. I think people kind of lose sight of that. I'm not looking to take Tottenham's legs away from them. I want them to do better. I want this manager to succeed. I don't want to go through another process of the fans losing faith. But this is the point, and this is the last point before we actually go, because we want to see our old boy playing. The fans, we have to buy into this because we're the ones that will keep or make the manager depart in whatever way. It's going to be down to us because Daniel Levy is swayed by public opinion. That is, if you sack a manager 5 days before a cup final and it's Jose Mourinho who usually wins cup finals, that means you're swayed by public opinion. And if that's the case, then if Ange, don't care how good you think you are, mate.
There was never a chance of Mourinho winning that cup final.
I think there was.
We don't know, though.
I
There was
think
a
there was.
myth.
We
You
don't.
see the way City dismantled us 4 weeks prior.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You don't know. It's a cup final.
Yeah,
Never say never.
please.
And if
Sean-
we only lost 1-0,
Sean wants us to go on for longer. Sean wants
only
uncomfortable
lost 1-0.
conversations.
Right,
Put
I'm
six.
not having this revisionism.
Anyway, it is what it is. If some babies and buts, that's what it's all,
Woo, right, I am going to ring the
It's
bell again.
about
Ding, ding, ding,
babies
ding,
and
ding. Let's say that's end of round 10.
And we've just covered the goalkeeper.
I know, that's
Listen,
crazy. We talk
we're
too
gonna-
much, guys.
We're going to end up like Imagination song. Could it be mad? We're just all delusional. It's an illusion. But, yeah, it is.
I think Levy Byrne, before spending being on strike, is what.
Last night I went to see the Average White Band, and their biggest hit was Pick Up the Pieces. So we'll pick up the pieces next week, shall we?
If we want to continue to be mediocre and trophyless, give Kulu another 3-year contract extension.
Well, Kulu,
Again,
they already said
uncomfortable
Kulu and Bentancur are players.
Yeah, I'm throwing Son into that as well, and people might throw stones at me, but I'm throwing Son into that mix, and it's the same way.
I don't think I can hear you say that. Unfortunately, look, for me, Son can retire at the club. I'll find a role for Son.
Yes, I agree, Darius.
Son's too important.
Give me
For
5,
me, I'll
Darius.
fine. High five, Sid.
Yeah,
Son is too important.
we
Just
need-
find
we
a
need
role
it.
for him.
We need to go and buy that guy Kangin from PSG.
Lee
to replace
Kangin,
him.
he's good. He's really good.
Listen, people,
Go
if
get
we've all
Hwang
just
Hee-chan from
said,
Wolves as well.
if we've all just said we're able to move on from Harry Kane,
Son's
why
different.
the hell?
Son's different.
Oh my God.
Son
We are
never
going to have
wanted
to
to
go
leave.
now.
Son
We are
never
going to have
wanted
to go
leave.
now.
That's all I'll
This
say.
is
Son
time.
never wanted to leave. He's never asked to leave. That's all I'll say. He's
I'm going
never
to come
asked
to
to
you
leave.
for your final thoughts. Sid, I'm going to start with you and with Darius. Sid, final thoughts.
Final thoughts, uncomfortable conversations 5. Here we come.
And young Sean, Mr. Hurl, Tottenham Tifosi.
I'm looking forward to watching the game against Burnley on Saturday.
Short and sweet.
Sean
Mr.
is
Free K.
speaking for himself there. I'm absolutely petrified for Saturday, but I'm very much looking forward to tonight because there's a great game that's on right now.
Good
And I
pick.
genuinely, I hope Bayern Munich win, because if Bayern Munich win, it will be a complete repeat of 2013. Bayern Dortmund in Wembley, exact same
Darius.
final as it was in 2013.
No.
Reply to that, please.
It's all German.
That's what I'm saying. Reply to that
Darius,
good beats.
reply to
Because
that,
I'm with good beats on that one. He can
Son
do the
can
tours.
do
He
the
can say,
tours.
come, this is where I used to sit. This is my number 7. Here it is.
Look,
And this
find
is where
him
I
a
used to
role.
be.
I don't. It doesn't have
That's
to
the
be on the
showers
pitch.
and there's the bath.
Find
That's the
him a
ice
role.
bath over there. And look at that big. That's what Son could do.
Find him a
that's
role.
only. I'm being a bit tongue in cheek. But
Let him do the trumpets at the start of the game on the skywalk. He can do that.
we can't be too sentimental. If we can get rid of Harry Kane, and I know that Harry Kane wanted to go, we didn't have to sell him. He was in his final year, but we wanted to take the money. If somebody says 60 million,
I'm
60
saying
million,
no. I'm actually saying no. I'm saying no. Son's my boy. I'm not selling Son. That's my boy. He's retiring a Spurs fan. He's retiring a Spurs player.
Cut the stream.
I'm sorry.
Cut the
I'm
stream,
sorry.
Sam.
I've contradicted everything I've said. I've contradicted everything I've said.
the
music.
Darius, you just showed yourself to be a Spurs
Play the
fan.
drill music.
I'm going to put the drill music on.
Play
We
the
got to
drill
go.
music.
We got to go. Flipping. Now that final thought. Oh my God, I'm sweating.
That's my
Woo.
boy. I would not sell
Darius.
Son. Even if he gave me 100, I'm not selling him, bro.
Darius,
Damn.
I'm with you, mate. I'm not taking.
High
this
five
serious.
again, Sid. High five
Yeah,
again.
I'm not
Sam,
taking
cue
this-
the drill music, man. Cue the drill music.
Just do it. End the stream.
Just cue. I want to watch this game.
Christ. We need uncomfortable conversations part
Industry.
5 tonight, fam, if we're talking this type of talk.
End
This
the
was
stream.
talking. Oh my god.
At full
Woo!
time.
Anyway,
See you
people,
full time.
it's full time. It's full time. We've got to go. Where we got to go. We've got to go. I'm trying to find the drill music because we need drill music to go out for this one because this has been a hard one to actually.
That was just.
You're saying 100.
Are we
I'm
gonna have a
looking
Drake?
like a bastard here.
Are we gonna have
No.
a Drake and Kendrick situation now?
No, we're going to seriously
no.
have a real.
Give me Macklemore. Give me Macklemore.
Yes, I sure know about the Macklemore track. I heard that last night. It's a banger, by the way. It's a
What
banger.
Macklemore track?
You ain't heard it? Oh, it's a
No.
banger. It's a
And
banger.
Macklemore the rapper.
Hall, man.
Macklemore the rapper.
He's got a
Very
good
conscious
song out.
track. Yeah, about the Palestine Iraq war. Sorry, Iraq.
What?
Palestine
yeah.
Israel war.
It's a banger.
Oh, it's a banger. He's killed
It's a
it.
banger.
Wait, really? Are we being
Yeah,
serious right now?
yeah. Facts. No,
Thrift
facts.
shop Macklemore. Thrift shop
2
Macklemore.
minutes. 2
Yeah.
minutes of absolute filth. It's great.
Yeah, man, he's killing it, and he's got visuals
Wait.
as well, killing it.
End the
Honest,
stream.
I
I've got
saw-
things to do.
End the stream. Sorry. Okay. Thank you very much, people. Like, subscribe, comment, all the rest of that stuff. PRTv Spurs,
Macklemore.
Tottenham TV, and we're going to go out now.
Let's go.